Great news, we're over with the federal election campaign. One of the promises was a battery rebate. And we never really had a federal battery rebate. People thought about it, people hoped for it, but it never happened. So if you want to find out all about the battery rebate, what the rules are, how you can get it, what the scams are to watch out for, watch this program today. We're going to go through the whole lot.
Presented by Your Energy Answers.
Now, these are the kind of golden rules about the rebate at this point in time. You're only going to get one per building. Very different to the way solar was. You get a cheap, crappy system, it dies after 2 years, guess what? You get the rebate again, and again, and again, and you do landfill solar. So my belief, at least when it comes to the batteries now, be smart and get a really high quality brand because you're going to only get it once. You also cannot expand later on the rebate. You actually have to size the system correctly. So the cookie cutter approach from the cheap and cheerful companies is not necessarily going to work for you because you want somebody who looks at your consumption, looks at your homes, looks at your forward predictions and gets you the battery size that is correct for you. I think that was a very good idea by the government to only give the rebate once per property. But if you're an owner who has property that you live in and then there is another one that you sometimes live in or your son lives in and you sometimes visit, you can get the battery rebate for every single one of your properties that you own. Now, on one hand, that's very good if you're a rich person and have a lot of property, but it actually also gets me to what one of the failures of this particular rebate program. And the failure is that there is nothing in it for renters. It is a lot of middle class welfare in that all the people who have a house, the baby boomers like me, we love it. But it's not that fair and equitable. So now I tell you, there will be a boom and it'll start off with a bang for a couple of reasons. 4 million solar system owners and only about 500,000 systems will be supported. The second one is the rebate goes down every year. People will go, oh, next year my rebate might only be 3,000. This time it's 3,750. So every year there will be a boom by the end of the year when the ads come out. Solar battery rebate reducing. Please, jump on it before it goes too late. You can have it 5 to 50 kilowatt hours. It needs to be a VPP enabled battery, which means that you can participate in a virtual power plant. Energy retailers or software companies can actually take hold of your battery and actually utilize that to stabilize the grid. But the good news is it just needs to be VPP enabled. If you do not want somebody else to run your battery, you do not have to go into a VPP. But there are good programs like Amber where you actually can set the parameters and then it does make you additional money and it does actually help stabilize the grid, which is coming back to another reason why is the government so generous with 2.3 billion? Because 1/3 will be rebate and 2/3 is coming from your pocket. So about $4.6 billion consumer money is now going into stabilizing the grid. It's not the energy distributors, it's not the energy retailers, it's not the people who actually let us down that the government has to actually now spend the 2.3 billion to get you guys all help us to get a more stable grid when the coal-fired power stations get pulled out. So in some way, we're all doing a community service by paying 2/3 of that battery. Now, what savings can you have? I would argue a normal 6, 7, 8, 9 kilowatt solar system will get you around the $2,000 in annual savings if you use at least 40 to 50%. But now with the battery, all that exported solar that you only get 2 to 3, 4, 5 cents for, a lot of it you can keep in your battery and then use at night. And that benefit should add possibly another $800 to $1,000. Of course, there are a lot of little provisos. The other thing is, of course, blackouts. They can become much more frequent going forward. We don't know how stable the grid will be. Now, there are differences in the batteries. There are some who give you a full home protection. There are others that only give you protections of, let's say, a couple of key circuits that you have chosen. And you got to get a local company that has good battery experience to sit down with you and explain that you get the solution you want. Because in the olden days, people bought batteries and the cheap ones didn't even have blackout protection. And people only found out, the sales guy promised them the world, but when it actually went down the grid, that battery wasn't supporting them and they only found out the hard way. And then the company made, oh no, no, we didn't say that and this and that. So please, I see the scams already coming up on my phone. I can get you a battery for $1,000 up front. It's a $10,000 to $12,000 to $15,000 item. Nobody's going to put that in your house for no cost up front. Or if they do, your interest bill and how long you're going to pay for is going to kill you. So please be very wary and go for a local company. Now, one item where the government has been trying to think for the industry, because what happens is every time there's a rebate announced and people are thinking of getting a battery, you get a call and say, look, no, I don't want the battery installed next week now. There's a rebate coming in 2 months. I'm going to wait to get that rebate and get that money because there is going to be suddenly a stop for the industry on battery installs. So in order to avoid that, the government has done a very fair thing, and you can actually get your solar and battery installed now, and the solar can be turned on and working, but the battery itself is only allowed to be turned on by the 1st of July in order for you to get the rebate. So that is a positive thing for the industry. Now, if you watch this video after the 1st of July, it's not relevant anymore, but I actually do congratulate the Minister, Chris Bowen, in this case for listening to the industry and not stuffing it up for us. Now, this is when we're coming to the scam type of things. In the past, who sold battery at half cost as long as you paid the half price up front. And people were so convinced that they were going to get a good saving because they had good salespeople and those companies that they're going to do bulk purchasing, which meant that they're going to get the savings, they're passing them straight on, and that was the story was spun. And people against good advice get their money to those companies. And there was a particular one that sold the LG Chem battery about 4 years ago, and a dude flew in from overseas, started the scheme, walked out of here with $600,000 in their pocket, and a lot of people burnt. There will be companies who ask for a higher deposit up front at the moment because if they're not getting the rebate straight away, they are looking to manage their cash flow, and that is fair enough. Now, if it's a local bricks and mortar company that you've heard about, that they have been around for 10 years, I would trust them with a larger deposit. But if it is a company that is living somewhere in a high rise and Unit 42 at 772 Parramatta Road and all those kind of addresses, they are solar sales companies. So if the deal looks too good to be true, I smell a rat, especially if the company has only been around for a very, very short time. 10% deposit, 15, 20 in this industry is normal. A good quality battery, $1,000 per kilowatt hour is average. That's your Tesla, that's your SunGrow, that's your Seek Energy, that's your Franklin's, that's the Enphase, that's the SolarEdge. Those are all brands that I would use. But when you hear the superstar and really fancy dancy names ones, and you do not find them with the major installers in Australia covered, then I wouldn't touch them. And if it smells a bit fishy, if your gut feeling tells you, oh, I couldn't afford a battery, now this guy's offering it to me for $1,000 because there's the rebate, I'm telling you now, in 2 years' time, even less, it'll be dead. You're going to make a phone call to that company, they're not going to be around. You now go, what do I do with this bloody battery? And it might be smoldering there and be actually a fire risk and all sorts of things. And now you cannot wait to get it out of your house and you're going to have to pay for somebody to take it away. Now, if you have a system from 2005, 6, 7, 10, 15, and they are 1.5 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt, or even 5 kilowatt, you might not have a big enough system to really justify battery. So you might have to look at either adding a bigger system if you have the roof space, or taking your existing system off and start fresh and get a solar and battery combo. You now have really good technology. They're the ICO panels with 480 watt. We started with 175 watts. So you can imagine how much more technology is in those new panels. So I would say to a lot of people, upgrade your system. Make sure that your installer has a proper recycling program that he participates in so the panels can be reutilized in that way. But overall, this will be the time to put a line under high electricity bills. And then there'll be the EVs. So maybe oversize that battery a bit so you actually have a little bit of spare in case you want to top up your EV out of your solar. So my strong advice right now, go to a local company. Go to somebody who's been a bricks and mortar building somewhere close to you that has a showroom, that has been around for a decade, that has gone in the ups and downs of the solar coaster, because those people will be there to support you. The difference between a solar battery and just a solar system is a solar battery does need checking. It needs appropriate monitoring. You are putting an energy bundle into your house. So please do not go for anyone that kind of sends you these spam mails and says, I can get your battery for $1,750 or I can get you one for no upfront costs. When you read these, you are bound to go for trouble. So want to buy cheap? You're going to buy it twice. Don't go cheap. Go quality. Do it once, do it properly, protect your home. It's a battery now. It's not a solar panel that sits on the roof and doesn't do much. It's something that has energy in it and a lot of it. Don't get the cheap stuff. Keep your family safe.
Please support the channel by liking the video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, and check out all our other videos. Want more energy answered? Visit yourenergyanswers.com for quality energy products, tools and calculators, and find your quality local installers. You're still here? I'll see you next time. Bye.